Let's talk about something that's a little depressing: welfare. Now, welfare itself isn't the depressing part. It's a vital program for people that have, for whatever reason, hit a bad patch in their lives. And yes, sometimes it does get abused just like every other government program. But for the 90% of the people that need welfare, it is vital. And most of them are on it for less than a year. They never tell you that on the news, do they? About 74% of the people getting welfare use it for less than a year. Today we're looking at towns that have hit bad patches, and they have the highest rate of people on welfare. We're going to tell you about that and why. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Beckley, West Virginia. Welcome to Beckley, West Virginia, where the mountains are pretty, but the job market is about as lively as a coal mine after a shutdown. Once a proud coal town with a booming economy, Beckley has done a full nosedive into "we're just trying to get by" territory. These days, the local economy runs less on industry and more on government assistance. If you're wondering why the line at the welfare office is longer than the one at the DMV, it's because a significant chunk of the population depends on public aid to survive. And who can blame them? With the collapse of coal and not much else moving in, the only consistent paychecks around here come from unemployment checks, disability claims, and the occasional seasonal gig at a gas station that also sells bait. Imagine small town charm with boarded up buildings and a hint of hopelessness. The cost of living is low, which is great unless you're trying to earn a living, in which case, good luck with that. The job options are limited unless you're into fast food, retail, or becoming a statistic. This town has a serious generational poverty cycle. Kids grow up watching their parents struggle, and then they repeat the process like it's a family tradition. But if you're into quiet towns with beautiful views and economic stagnation, Beckley might be your Appalachian dream. Here's the numbers. Households with SNAP benefits, about 21.7% of them. Things are looking better because in 2020, that was 25%. Poverty rate here is 21%, and the population with disability checks coming in is 26.1%. Number 9, El Centro, California. Welcome to El Centro, a desert town where the sun is relentless, the economy is questionable, and the government assistance checks are needed. Tucked down near the Mexican border, El Centro has the unfortunate honor of having one of the highest unemployment rates in the entire country right now. It's 7.1%. The U.S. average right now is 4.6%. With limited industry, scarce jobs, and a climate that feels like someone left the oven on, a large chunk of the population has had to rely on welfare programs just to stay afloat. It's not just a safety net here, it's practically a lifestyle. El Centro isn't too far from San Diego. Now, don't get dreams of palm trees and ocean breezes, because this is not that type of California. If you leave the wonderful beaches in San Diego and drive east for 2 hours, you'll find a place in the middle of desert and farmland with bars on windows and people wondering what happened to their American dream. The economy here is largely supported by seasonal farm work and government subsidies. It's the kind of town where if you're not working in agriculture, odds are you're working on your paperwork for public assistance. And forget affordable housing. It's California, so I don't care how far you go out into the desert, it's still going to be too expensive. The cost of living here keeps going up while wages barely budge. El Centro is one of those places where escaping the cycle of poverty isn't just hard, it's like trying to climb out of a sand dune during a windstorm with no shoes on. Here's their numbers. The percentage of households with SNAP benefits is 22.5%. The poverty rate here is 24.7%, and the percentage of population on disability is 15.4%. Number 8, Porterville, California, where the American dream pulled over, took a nap, and forgot to wake up. This small Central Valley town somehow manages to combine the worst parts of rural life with none of the charm. The economy, let's just say fragile would be a compliment. A huge chunk of the population relies on government assistance just to scrape by, and it's not because they're lazy, it's because job opportunities here are about as common as beachfront property. Farming used to be the lifeblood of this town, but with water shortages, automation, even those gigs are drying up faster than a summer puddle in Bakersfield. The local economy runs on a strange blend of EBT cards, dollar stores, and hope. Schools are underfunded, healthcare access is sketchy, and if you're looking for an upward mobility, you might want to check the town next door. Here's their numbers. Households with SNAP benefits is about 22.7%. The poverty rate here is 24.6%, and the percentage of the population on disability is 11.1%. Number 7, Hammond, Louisiana. Where humidity is thick, the mosquitoes are aggressive, and the economy is, well, let's just say on a permanent coffee break. Hammond is the kind of place where the most reliable paycheck often comes with a government seal on it. A significant chunk of the population relies on public access just to get by, and it shows. We're talking about a town where the job market feels like it's stuck in a time loop from 1992, and your best bet for finding work might be if someone drops out of the Waffle House rotation. This place is in a serious employment drought. The poverty rate in Hammond is almost double the national average. And this creates a cycle that's harder to escape than a family reunion after someone brings up politics. The downtown area tries to fake it with some charm and local shops, but once you get outside the college bubble of Southeastern Louisiana University, the reality hits you like a pothole you didn't see coming. Here's the numbers. Households with SNAP benefits is about 22.9%. The poverty rate here is 26.7%, and the percentage of the population on disability is 20% even. Number 6, Brownsville-Harlingen, Texas. Living in the Brownsville-Harlingen metro area is like stepping into a tale of two cities, one where the sun shines on ambitious growth and the other where shadows of poverty linger. Despite recent economic strides, including a 112.5% increase in high-income households between 2022 and 23, largely attributed to the SpaceX expansion, the region grapples with a poverty rate of almost 30%. Nearly double the national average. Brownsville alone, which is the better of the two places, has almost 25% of their residents living below the poverty line. Now, amidst all these challenges, this metro area is not without its strengths. The area's affordability and strategic locations have attached industries and investment contributing to the economic resilience. This is a perfect example of the middle class shrinking, while the two classes on each side of it are growing. Here's the numbers. 23.2% of the households here have SNAP benefits. The poverty rate is about 27.9%, and the percentage of the population on disability is 12.7%. Number 5, Albany, Georgia. Living in Albany, Georgia is a bit like trying to fix a leaky roof with duct tape. You can patch it, but the underlying issue remains. The city grapples with a poverty rate of approximately 29.7%, close to double the national average. The economic hardships are evident here. Over 30% of the residents rely on Medicaid for health coverage, and a significant portion of the population depends on SNAP just to make ends meet. Food stamps is SNAP, in case you don't know. The city's challenges are further compounded by the high concentration of poverty, with 9 neighborhoods experience a poverty rate of over 40%. They've got a bunch of, different programs to end homelessness, to help the people get back on their feet, whatever they can do. But this has been going on a very long time. Here's the numbers. Households on SNAP benefits is 24.1%. The high rate of poverty, which is 29.7%, like I said earlier, and the population on disability is 15.8%. Number 4, Yakima, Washington. Welcome to Yakima, Washington, where the apples are plentiful, but the job opportunities, not so much. Nestled in the heart of central Washington, Yakima is technically known for its agriculture, but you'd be forgiven for thinking the real local crop is government assistance. The city has some of the highest poverty rates in the state, and a big chunk of the population leans heavily on welfare programs just to make ends meet. The area is beautiful, don't get me wrong. The town is just in an ugly situation and has been for a long time. You've got a town where the cost of living should be low enough to get by, but somehow people still find themselves choosing between groceries and gas. And while some folks are genuinely struggling to survive, others seem perfectly content milking the system like it's the state's unofficial job program. Don't get me wrong, there are hardworking people in Yakima, but they're outnumbered by the folks hanging out at the corner store mid-morning on a Tuesday, talking about how the system is rigged while waiting for their EBT card to reload. Here's the numbers. Households on SNAP benefits, about 24.2%. The poverty rate here is 18.1%, and the population on disability is 13.8%. Number 3, Las Cruces, New Mexico. Welcome to Las Cruces, a place where the sun never quits, the mountains are Instagram worthy, and the economy runs mostly on government checks. If you're dreaming about a booming job market, keep dreaming. A significant chunk of the population relies on welfare, public assistance, or what locals affectionately call state-sponsored survival. This is a city where it's not unusual to see 3, maybe even 4 generations living under the same roof. This used to be very normal, but then the Neanderthals died off and we didn't see much of it anymore. This place may have jobs, but they're not high-paying jobs. Most of the jobs in this town are at minimum wage, or thereabouts. The city does dress up its economic struggles with festivals, art walks, and desert sunsets, but peel back the adobe exterior and you find poverty rates well above the national average. Let's check out the numbers. The percentage of the population on SNAP benefits is 26.4%, over a quarter of them. The poverty rate is 28.1%, and the population on disability is 17%. Number 2, Laredo, Texas. Welcome to Laredo, Texas, where the heat isn't the only thing that'll drain you. This border town sits right on the edge of the Rio Grande and clings to life with the same desperation as a plastic lawn chair in a Texas windstorm. I almost said testicle windstorm right there. I don't know what I was thinking. Laredo has a population that's mostly Hispanic, bilingual, and proud, but also broke. We're talking about a city where the median household income makes minimum wage look like a promotion. We're talking about a place where nearly a third of the population lives below the poverty line. And you guessed it, the government assistance isn't just a backup plan, it's practically the local economy. If Walmart stopped accepting EBT tomorrow in Laredo, it would probably trigger an economic collapse. The welfare system here isn't just a safety net, it's more like a hammock everyone is stuck in. And while there's plenty of community pride and hardworking folks trying to make ends meet, the cycle of poverty here is so baked in you'd think it's part of the city's charter. Here's the numbers. Households with SNAP benefits is 28%. Oddly enough, their poverty rate is also 28%. And their percentage of residents on disability is 10.8%. All right, before we get to number 1, you know the drill. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. And don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, McAllen, Edinburgh, Mission, Texas. Welcome to McAllen, Edinburgh, Mission, Texas metro area, where the cost of living is low and the tacos are great and the government assistance is practically a way of life. This little slice of the Rio Grande Valley consistently ranks among the poorest metro areas in the entire United States. And no, that's not just some trivia, that's a lifestyle. Nearly a third of the population lives below the poverty line, and public assistance programs are less of a safety net and more of an income stream. If you're looking for a place where welfare isn't just a backup plan, but a family tradition, congratulations, you found it. Now, don't get it twisted. People here aren't lazy. The jobs just don't pay. You've got a ton of folks working full-time here and still qualify for food stamps, which is sort of like winning a rigged game of Monopoly. Add in low-wage service work, seasonal farm labor, and a local economy that's allergic to upward mobility, and you've got the perfect recipe for a government-funded survival strategy. Meanwhile, the politicians talk about economic development, while the residents are just trying to develop enough gas money to get to the grocery store. Let's look at the numbers. The households with SNAP benefits is about 30.5%. The poverty rate here is 30% even, with about 14.1% of the population living below the poverty line. And 14.1% of the people here are on disability. Yeah, that's not good. Those are bad numbers. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.